Welcome back, everybody, to another day of League of Legends here in Korea, LCK Summer 2019. It's me, Valdez, with Late Smite. You guys might have heard of him here on the broadcast. We're going into KT versus Hanwha Life Esports. Now, these two teams struggling a bit nowadays. They are what we consider down in the bottom three compared to the top seven, and both of them right now just trying to avoid relegation. How do you think this one is going to go today?
I don't think anyone can quite predict that.
Yeah,
I don't think
true.
that it's quite possible to know what's going to go on here. You know, you're saying that both are struggling, and it's who's going to live. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you got to choose one.
Yeah.
You pull two people out of the water.
It's like
you don't
Survivor,
know.
right?
Exactly.
One of these guys are getting voted off the island.
I feel like I'm actually in a really cruel episode of Saw or something.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
You know, you got to sort of choose which one do you want. So.
That's true.
I think that if we take a look at the standings, KT, they have been struggling a little bit more than Hanwha Life so far this split, even though the match records are the same. And this is the decisive match for both of them because getting the leg up over one another on this is quite big. And then later on tonight, we'll also have another exciting match.
Yeah, Sandbox versus Griffin will be coming up second tonight. That's going to be another big one because both of those teams really just trying to make it into playoffs. And surprisingly, Griffin here, who did make it to the finals of Spring, of course, are in 6th place with an 8-5 record so far, even at +8. So we'll be looking for that win later. We'll see if they can actually get it. One thing to note is that tonight, if Hanwha Life does win against KT, that does delegate Jin Air down to relegation to 100%.
Yeah.
So Jin Air, they're going to be rooting for KT here in the hopes that Jin Air can have a chance to win the rest of their games and come out ahead of both of these teams.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at some of the points of the match. So this is the relegation matchup. Both teams at the edge of the what?
Precipice.
NA education.
Well, come on. Wow.
They have to contest. Who uses that word?
Well, apparently we do here, but not you. LS.
Wow. I think that's my first time seeing it written out. That's the real point of the match, okay?
There you go.
Round one, stay focused. We didn't win yet. Hanwha Life had a clean 2-0 win over KT. Songyu News' new best friend, Comet and Essence Reaver, Trinity Force Ash has Prey found 1-2. And then Hanwha Life victory will lock Jin Air into LCK relegation or LCK promotions match. Hanwha Life's possible lowest result 4-14. Losses -17. Jin Air's best possible result 4 wins, 14 losses, -18.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, if Hanwha wins at all, Jin Air cannot possibly overcome their record. So definitely a big matchup for Hanwha and Jin Air for this first one. We'll take a look at some stats here as actually second in the league for First Blood. That's kind of surprising when you're down at 8th place. Hanwha Life Esports, they've been doing some things right, but not enough things, as there is basically no chance for either of these teams to make playoffs now.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, though, the First Blood percent for both these teams is relatively high compared to the rest of the league, but the problem then stems that they can't really win, even after they get early advantages. Win rates with First Blood, not looking so hot. KT, though, a little bit better. As we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. This was against Genji, as they managed to lock up Peanut. Then right here, this is a post-Baron fight. Okay, Snowflower with the Pike ultimate right there.
Yeah, Snowflower, a guy that hasn't really been having that much success here in spring or summer for KT, so it's been kind of sad for his fans, but had some decent moments on the Pike, as you can see. Okay, I mean, KT lost 2-0 to Genji, so we really didn't get to see much. Whereas Hanwha Life, their last victory was against Jin Air. I remember this day where it was, wow, this second matchup was pretty intense. Bono on the Jarvan actually had the day of his life. And he also with a couple of good hooks.
And the Corki just dealing massive amounts of damage right there. As Malrong, he's trying to run into Suicide as the Karthus to get the passive.
And of course, this was the match where we had Big Chungus on the Zed, who really could not do much. And Malrong got arrowed every single time as Songyun figured out, hey, I can play Ashe again. Seems like it's not half bad with the Comet and the Trinity Force and all that cooldown reduction. Good stuff. As the key player comparison here will be in the mid lane, actually. You'll see that BDD up against Tempt will be the comparison here.
Yeah, and the KDA stats, 2.9 though for BDD. It is 9th in the league right now. Although the damage percentage, BDD is quite high, and Tempt is pretty high himself. No slouch.
I'm trying to figure out, are these the real numbers? Because Temp's is higher in damage percentage, but he doesn't get a little highlight there. Also, I kind of doubt that being on the 8th place team, you can have a KDA of 7.1, but he hasn't played the entire split, so I'm not going to call out our stats team just yet, not 100% sure. As KingIt is going to be starting here once again for KT. We saw Smeb come out in Game 2 the last time around, but this time KingIt will be starting again.
You know, I actually coming in today on my way backstage or whatever, I actually saw Smeb, and he was looking at all of the photos. You know how we have like the memory walk or something that we have here at LOL Park? I felt very sad.
Yeah,
there's definitely some KT memories up there, and definitely it feels bad, man. That's some Bible thumbs in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, Smeb's had a lot of fantastic moments in his career. At one point, even being rated the top player in the world. I remember when it was him and Faker vying for that top spot. And now here we are on 9th place KT, and he doesn't even get the start anymore. So definitely some Bible thumbs for him. Hopefully he can make his return back, as everybody on the side of Hanwha Life looking pretty alive today and ready to go.
And Hanwha Life, I don't know how this match is actually going to go or what kind of drafts we're going to get. But KT, I could see them having an easier time here against Hanwha than they would against some other teams inside of the league. And with KingIn starting in top lane, we'll see if that is going to mean anything. Now, KT is starting on the blue side, though, so they won't have counter picks available. And drafts are so important in the current state of the LoL meta, and especially between teams that are even, almost, in terms of skill level. Drafts tend to mean a whole lot more than normal in Season 9.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy drafts that can kind of dictate the way the games go. A lot of Corki, Ezreal coming in together, the Poke Buddies, the Poke Duo, and just able to scale up and do pretty well. But we'll have to see where these teams want to highlight their drafts, as we are going to be jumping into Game 1 right now for KT versus Hanwha.
It's actually going to be Taliyah in the window as the first ban here for KT. We'll see what Hanwha is going to attack. As they're taking their time, it will be Yuumi. Aurelia now going to be banned away. And there's still champions like Sejuani that are still open and available. Aatrox is also available. He has been buffed on 914.
That he has. I feel like people are beginning to realize that slowly, as we do see more and more Aatrox. But he's still up in the top 5 highest presence in terms of champions picked here at LCK. But taking away Azir from BDD, I think, is always a good idea, even if you are on the red side and they're limited for bans.
And so now, does KT just ban away more mid laners? Corki is obviously still open. Even Zoe is something that you could consider given the two teams, but looks like it will be a Gragas ban.
Yeah, the Gragas kind of interesting up against Bono, especially if you are a team that has score starting on it. But they're giving credit to Hanwha to take it first rotation, so that will be immediately taken off the board. You mentioned the Sejuani. That's not going to be the ban here, as we're taking away Xayah from Prey, which will leave some other stuff available.
We're going to have to see what KT wants to pick up first. Corki is actually just going to be locked in there by BDD, most likely for him. And now Hanwha Life are forced to respond. There are the champions, like we did mention already. Sejuani is still available. Aatrox, another one. And they are hovering Aatrox right now, so we'll have to see if they lock him in. 2 seconds remaining. And Aatrox will be locked in there.
Yeah, and amongst those other names, we have stuff like Ezreal still left available. We've been seeing that be banned out or first picked in recent time, even yesterday. Saw that a bit. Definitely a big decision to be made here, as Ezreal is going to be that pick, not going to allow KT to run Corki Ezreal.
And there's the Sejuani. It is being locked in relatively quickly there by KT, and the Kai'Sa pickup. I've been talking about this more and more. I've also been mentioning it on Twitter. Kai'Sa is the anti-Xayah and Ezreal ADC, especially later in the game. Whenever she's backed up by a hyper carry or just a powerful carry for the most part, in mid or top lane, she's able to take on the role of basically a suicide champion where she trades herself for the enemy's primary carries, and she's able to reach those backlines that normally aren't able to be reached in the current meta. Traditionally, Ezreal is Azir, Ezreal Corki to that extent, but now she's going to have the Corki here in mid lane backing her up in the event that she goes for the dive on the backline. And Sir Thomas is actually picked up by Hanwha Life. And I would really like to see KT abuse the Tahm Kench here. I think it's really ridiculous when you blind him and there's just not enough ban allocation. But in the LCK, we don't see Tahm get abused. Instead, we're going to see some sort of a gross handshake, okay, where Braum or something will end up. Exactly. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. You look at the Hanwha Life team composition, and there's just so many support champions that really mess it up right now. One of them would be Zyra. We haven't seen Zyra almost at all in Season 9 across any region. You have champions like Lux even that can come in here and be very powerful against Aatrox and also the Tahm. You don't have champions like Soraka, but you don't even get excited about this.
Haven't heard about her in a while.
Don't even get excited. You already know that Braum or something's coming.
It's gonna be Braum or, you know, one of those other guys that we see every single day.
Veldas, calm down. You have to choose the Braum so you get the Glacial passive.
Oh, that's true.
Right. Come on. Get it together, buddy.
I mean, they've skipped out on the Ashe already, so you really only have one choice in the current LCK meta, which would have to be that Braum. No Volibear tops or anything like that, although, who knows, maybe Volibear can come in here. But with a lot of other hard CC champs out there, even a Nautilus could be considered as a tanky frontline and something to get Kai'Sa unleashed as Sylas. I mean, immediately as a response to the Sejuani.
Even Karma isn't necessarily that bad here as a means to get ahead and accelerate, as Camille is being hovered now against the Aatrox. We have seen this be picked several times. And this is also a testament to one of the things going on within the meta when champions like Camille are resurrecting themselves almost, despite having been continuously nerfed and had indirect nerfs her way. And there it is, you know. Let's just handshake.
Yeah.
You know, no bra, like.
You gonna be okay over there, Ellis?
I'm holding it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like when Tahm Kench is an abuse. Oh, they chose the Sylas, so it has to be short range engage along with the Aatrox. God forbid we, I don't know, we choose like a Lux or a Zyra. No. We can't do that.
Come on.
That would be forbidden.
Well, this would be nice, actually. Little change up with the Elise. would mean that Silas is okay. Well, Bono, we've seen Olaf banned against him many different times.
It's a bit of a blast to the past. Thankfully, teams
Yeah.
stopped picking him in recent weeks. And we might actually see why here in this game. As he is picked in, he's one of the answer. Oh, ooh. They're going to do Olaf in top or mid? That would be really interesting if they actually utilize Olaf that way. I don't think that that's going to be the case. There's only 7 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
a
very,
Bono
very
champ
cheesy.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, even when Olaf
Okay.
was down below 20% win rate, teams were still banning Olaf against Bono, which kind of blew my mind.
Well,
but-
he's a really bad champion, but then in addition to that, he has anti-synergy with the rest of the team. His only real purpose for being picked here is because CC and vulnerability against Edge, but there's more to the game than that, Valdez. As we take a look at the team composition here, Kai'Sa, Nautilus, Corki, Sejuani, and Camille. Massive amounts of scaling. 3 champions that don't slow down for the entire game, for the most part now, on the side of KT. They have multiple modes. They have split push. They have 4-1. They have ways to actually team fight. They even have 1-3-1 to an extent, given that they are on the red or the blue team. And then on the flip side, you have Aatrox, Olaf, Silas, Ezreal, and Sir Thomas Kench. So let's end this game before 2 items. It's the goal for Hanwha
Well,
Life.
we saw Bono was able to do it with Jarvan the 4th, but can he go back to an oldie but a goodie for him on the Olaf and make it happen? Let's find out in match 69, game number 1.
Did I just hear a Freaka? Did I just hear
Somebody's here at the wrong match. Like, SKT, fighting.
Nice.
You're a day late.
Yeah. All right, well, the Corgi skin is picked up here. By the way, the dog's name is Tanner.
Tanner?
Yeah, I just wanted to establish that
Okay.
with you here.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I can accept that.
Yeah, you can.
Is he from high school?
He is, actually.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people, they think that copy pasta, that meme, is
nice stuff.
about a human.
No, but it's actually about the dog named Tanner.
Yes. It's like Brian from Family Guy,
Yeah.
you know?
What a normal name for a dog. That was definitely what they were going for.
Yeah, it was.
You absolutely know it. Valkyrie had to be taken first by BDD, but he didn't have to blow any summoners or anything like that. Doesn't get to back, so we'll have to just sustain a bunch of damage in the mid lane as we're trading jungles at the moment.
Well, Bono will start on the Raptor camp. He's going to end up full clearing it, and now he will be spotted out on a ward as he's doing this red buff. And the thing that we can talk about here is that, remember, Hanwha Life, they're the ones that are on a clock. And it's very easy to itemize against Hanwha Life's champions. The Olaf has insane pressure on him where he's going to need to come up with kills. The problem is that the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus, for the most part, you don't have the easiest way to set up kill pressure against them, given that you have an Ezreal and a Tom. Bono's even going to have his jungle route interrupted, so that's the opposite of what is good. And the game's already not starting out so great for Hanwha Life, as he's going to come in here, but it doesn't matter. Corki has Valkyrie. They're not ganking him.
I mean, he had that at level 1 too, so
Yeah.
kind of just passing by here as not sure if Score took any of the Raptors, which would be nice for Bono if he could actually pick them up as he's going to his Krungs, but those were taken.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going right now.
He's lost.
He's lost
It
right now.
happens,
That's
you know?
okay, you know? I mean, it's not the Broloff skin,
Yeah.
but he's going to start his Raptor camps right now, and the wave is actually bouncing back into Kingan now. If he would want that to end up occurring. He just has to crash this last wave. He knows that he has complete safety because Olaf ended up having to go to the Raptor camp. I don't know why Solan's playing as safe as he is. So far back, he doesn't need to be doing this. This is really bizarre.
Yeah, just kind of feels like he is not sure where Score is, and he's missing a bunch of the CS. Definitely unfortunate for that one. Just overly safe play under the turret.
And the first dragon of the game is the Clown Dragon. And so it's not a super high priority pickup, but I suppose that Olaf could probably just solo it at some point. And if we're talking about which team does it benefit more, most likely it does benefit Hanwha Life a little bit more than it would KT. KT will mostly operate as like a siege turret for the most part when they conduct themselves in team fights. Just mostly protecting the Corki and allowing him to do everything. But so far, Hanwha Life, they're not getting any of the edges that they would have expected to get. The Aatrox is falling behind. Also should be noted that the Camille has Grasp of the Undying. And if that Ezreal falls inside of a team fight, they just have no damage coming from anywhere else. And all of the other champions on the side of KT are actually so slippery or have enough ample CC that Aatrox is not going to be able to do enough, and I don't have to break down for you how ineffective Olaf is at 3 items.
Just feels like, especially in the LCK meta, that it's been very difficult for any team to really pressure in the early game and get their agenda going early on, as teams have just been able to try to sit back and come back here. Score is going to just say thank you for the leash, as the pressure is really not going to be doing anything, and KT just going to be fine to sit back and farm up. A little bit of a trade right there, with KT actually getting the better end. It should be noted that both of these ADs have teleport, and so we're just playing the ping pong game here. Neither team really wants to take any trades. They know that Sejuani was on the bottom half of the map and their jungler was not. Big trade actually coming in. Looks like Devour was down. That's going to force that exhaust immediately to come out of Key, who did not want to use that, but will save the life of Sangi. Trade here with the aftershock. BDD going to get pretty low. The missiles will start coming out there from Tempt.
And remember, though, BDD still has teleport. Tempt has already exhausted his teleport. Doesn't have it available, although that's a big trade.
Ooh. Take a big one to the face there. Did the both of them as Tempt takes a turret shot.
Yeah.
Score now trying to get in range here. Tempt will have a bunch of mobility. We'll see if Score can actually get on top of him. Doesn't look like he's got any chilling smite or anything, as he went for not the jungle item first.
It would be really good there for Score to go flash for flash against the Sylas. You would open up so much kill pressure, and Sylas would be a sitting duck anytime he's too far forward. Because then when Sejuani ends up getting level 6, it becomes so easy to create a gank. And then in addition to that, Tempt would waste more time running away from the Sedge. Corki would get to crash a wave. It would convert into almost an effective kill just in terms of golden XP, even though you don't outright kill him. So a little bit surprising that Score was as cautious as he was, given how easy it is for his other laners to set up kills for him. He doesn't really need flash. Coming back into the mid lane here. BDD has the wave coming into him. I don't know why he keeps autoing the minions. You can already see that he has the XP lead as well.
Yeah.
Tempt just leveled up.
He's picked up the cult too. I mean, his objective here is to just not die. Farm up as much as possible. Bono's on a ward here. He's going to clean that one out, as I suppose that ward has become more and more popular in recent times. Neither team looking at that Cloud Drake. Another trade down here in the bottom side, but realistically, we're not going to have much action in this Tahm Kench lane.
And so far, everything else is just very stable. And this is bad news bears, if you're a Hanwha Life fan. That Corki is going to be able to coast right into the call completion without any issues. Doesn't even have the Fade yet, but not really going to need it. Tempt just continuing to shove really hard here in the mid lane. Was that a squeaky noise?
Yeah, I think that's part of the skin, right?
Okay.
The Corgi skin. As okay, really nice timing here on the counter gank. Thinking about it as score, but they decide to not show the Sejuani just yet. Big trade up here on the top side now as King In gonna get bounced down. Has to hook shot away from that one as he was trying to clear out that control ward, but was not successful.
The top lane state, though, is still completely fine. Kingen finds himself with a little bit of a CS advantage. Blue buff now, though, going to be stolen away by Bono, as there's no ward on the left-hand side. I don't know what Score's doing.
Hiding out of vision for now, as thinking about it. Nice flash and attempt as it's a Sylas. Will be very hard to be landing that one.
Sylas still unfortunately had flash, as it was not traded earlier on, so he's going to be able to avoid that game. And now, Sohan actually gets a turret plate here against Kingen up in top lane as the match continues to go kind of stale. So, Valdez, have you seen the Lion King?
I heard about the really bad reviews.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the reason for the bad reviews, and I saw that it was like, it was too similar to the original, which really kind of confused me because I thought that was the whole point. I don't know if you have any insight on that. I know you didn't really get a chance to watch The Lion King, as your date went sour the other day due to weather conditions.
Yeah.
But,
Atlas canceling on me.
yeah,
you know,
I don't know what that's about, but
ridiculous.
I knew you guys had a thing going on, so I didn't want to interfere, right? You know, but seems like maybe you're both back on the market.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's supposed to go Sunday, but
we'll see.
Knowing him,
yeah. I mean, if you get canceled twice, that's when you just know it's.
That's
like,
what.
okay.
Yeah, that's when I know that it's not working out.
First time, it's like, okay, you know, it's possible, right?
Right.
Maybe they're actually busy, right? If the busy guy got stuff going on, but the second time you're like, okay, they actually don't want to. They don't want to go out on a date with me. That's fine.
That's it,
I
right?
understand. Yeah.
Atlas, he can be that way.
They
and
stop answering your texts. You know, answering them if they're trying to be polite, but they're actually not being polite by not telling you what's up.
Look at Rift Herald. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on vision is Bono, by the way.
You know what else is possible, Valdez? It's possible that we might get a kill here before 20 minutes.
I wouldn't get your hopes up, LS.
No?
No, just take a step back.
All right. We're going to decide the game here on the Rift Herald. I am so excited right now.
Hey, trying to get on in there. Nice damage onto Tempt, but that's a big True Shot Barrage. And Hanwha Life trying to trade it back here. Score, though, is still alive in the back line. Here's Kaisa. Immediate exhaust is going to help out, but it still feels like it's going pretty heavily in favor of KT here, as Songyun survives for a long time, but Prey will be living for longer here, as more of the kills will go the way of KT, as they will take them all down.
So, there's a world also where Sohan goes down there. That could have been an effective ace all over a Rift Herald. So everything was built up for this. Let's take a look at how this all transpires once again. Score and BDD are ready to go over onto everyone, but then they go on to Tempt. Tempt doesn't get the aftershock until later. He goes down really early. Sohan can't quite kill, and then Key just eats him out of being able to auto-attack Score. And then right here, Prey should have killed Sohan, ended up missing. Should have just chased after him rather than using the spell cast, thus locking up Kaisa. And then at this point, they end up securing the Rift Herald, but at what cost, Valdez? They end up not being able to do anything with it. It's a little bit over 12.5 minutes now, so not too long remaining on the turret plates. What they could do is just have all 4 members run down and summon it right now so that you get the turret plates rather than just wasting it, summon it. Just one time. Summon the Herald, press the key, the button.
No, he
press
wants some
the
CS.
button.
LS.
The button.
Wait, he's CSing.
Oh.
He's busy.
Press the button. No, now it's...
Which button is that?
I don't know what hotkey he has it on, so I can't...
Normally it's 4.
Why won't you summon the Rift Herald?
Well, I mean, at this point, it's a little bit late, as Snowflower and Score are nearby with their ultimate.
Oh, now. All right.
He wanted to put some style on it. He wanted to do it on vision
Valdez,
backwards.
please calm down.
Okay?
Please calm down. I understand that you just can't quite comprehend all this goodness that's happening.
Okay, nice. Ultimate there onto the Tahm Kench, who is going to be a lot more vulnerable here, but will he go down is the question. Yes, he will.
Beautiful timing.
As KT just coming on in and rolling them in the bot lane. As, the Rift Herald got a couple of plates, but 3 kills went the way of KT.
I just have no idea what the timing was on it. They had priority. There was no mid-minion wave. Tempt could have just came down with the other 4 members. It would have been a pretty clean cast into the turret, and then they back up. Instead, Songyun, he takes his time. He clears out 2 waves first, then decides that he wants to throw the Herald into a minionless turret. And then he's too far forward. Rest of the teammates don't have any sort of initiative on any action, and they just completely botch it. Look at this. Look at mid lane. Corki had prio in mid. Kingen, he's completely fine to teleport down here. Doesn't even matter that Aatrox is coming either. And no one cares about that Rift Herald. There's no minions with it. So KT's getting the 2 for 1.
Well, that's one of those old-fashioned ones we used to get a lot where it was just, let's go, and then nice. So you guys probably are able to speak that much Korean by now if you've been watching the stream enough.
Yeah. It's a very difficult translation there. Nice to nice. That's doesn't even sound remotely similar. So
no, yeah,
it's very impressive when the Twitch.
You can tell by the intonation,
right?
And, the different pronunciation.
The savants are able to just interpret it. You know,
only our Twitch chat can be that intelligent.
Or YouTube chat, wherever you're watching.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know.
Shout out to the YouTube chat.
Very, very intellectual. Wine glass.
Oh yeah.
You know. As KT now, they're going to get the Scuttle Crab 3.5 minutes until...
Snowflower stole it. Took the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
He did.
I'm not sure if I feel
not really
okay
gonna
about
matter.
That.
First turret goes down to KT. And they're really far ahead. Now, we've seen this out of KT in other games in this season. They've gotten really far ahead. They've been in winning positions, and then they completely botch it. So we'll see if they can actually manage to lock this one down here.
Oh boy, Score. He doesn't have his flash, and that means he's dead. Had to get out of the way of the Abscon there, so had to dash before he could get to the wall, and kind of an unfortunate circumstance of being out of position.
Yeah. Songyun now going to pick up that bot tier 1 turret. And so let's talk about the current game state. The mid turret being opened up as early as it was is really problematic for Hanwha Life. They don't have a lot of long range on their team. They don't have a very easy way of fortifying their red side jungle. It's not like they have like an Azir or something that can really suffocate the choke point into their red side. So as the game continues to scale on, it's all eyes on Songyun for the most part. Olaf is basically a non-factor inside of this game. Aatrox doesn't have enough damage threat with him to the point where he can face roll into the opposition.
Yeah.
Sylas is also going to be heavily reliant on whose ultimate he can have, as well as what is his angle of approach, and does he get Aftershock off? Because it's likely that he's going to be on the defensive, as we just saw a replay of Score dying. But Ezreal, he has the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is really surprising because Corki and Sejuani are going to be his primary concerns, as well as even the Nautilus. So the Iceborne, I'm not sure. I really don't think that it would be better than Trinity Force in this spot, just because you don't really benefit from the passive. You don't need the armor against a lot of these champions. And it just seems like it's going to set him even further behind.
Yeah, it does feel that way. And again, he's going to be the majority of the damage. Don't really feel like if you visualize stuff, you know, everybody says you should visualize things before you get into the fight so you can have a better chance. As that is going to land. But you think about these fights where Hanwha Life from behind, trying to get an Olaf and an Aatrox to the back line of Kai'Sa and Corki through a Sejuani and Nautilus when they're behind. Just doesn't feel like something is possible unless KT mess up.
Hanwha Life's team composition is really, really, really weak. And the Corki, they don't have an answer to it in the later stages. Tempt trying to go in there on Snowflower. Hanwha maybe wants to make a fight happen, but Corki just deals so much damage.
Yeah, you can see what happens when they try to force it. Even Nautilus has his own little bit of mobility where he can
Yeah.
bridge line away. He's like, okay, we're not ready to take the fight yet. BDD will do a bit of poke.
Here's Songyun actually dealing quite a bit of damage, though.
I think he knows that there's a lot of pressure on him, you know, to be one of the only guys that can actually do damage in this game.
Look at Tanner.
Tanner.
Anti-gravity.
He's having a good time over there.
Anti-gravity. You know.
I like that purple plane too. The purple.
Do you like it?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like.
He
that
hoped
skin.
that you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me before the cast.
You're talking to Tanner.
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just hangs out in the back, just drinking some ice water,
Yeah,
talking to us
actually-
about the games.
Yeah, I walked backstage and he said, "LS, what's up? It's Tanner from high school." I was like, "Wow."
Wow, it's been so long.
Yeah. I asked him what he was doing in Korea. He told me that he had a game to win today. So,
Yeah.
you know, here he is.
Well, he's on a pretty good roll so far. It's Corky looking for the engage now. Going to find Songyun, but the Devourer goes down. That's going to be the double knock up here as Hamalife just on the run and not much they can do. Not a lot of great help for you there. Hey, buddy, Mr. Sir Tom Kent, as he's going to go down. 2 kills on a very basic engage. So on, nowhere nearby. Was not able to teleport as KT going to get another big objective on top of those 2 kills.
And now they're going to be able to go into mid lane. They're going to push this out. They have the Mountain Dragon, and it's a really easy Baron to take with Corky and Kaisa and Camille. They have such an easy way also of going over the wall. And Hanwha, they're going to have to respect that too. Hextech Ultimatum still available on King. I mean, it does look like this is going to be a pretty free Baron.
Oh, that was close. Kaisa picks it up. Thanks for giving us a little moment of excitement in this game. Wouldn't be a KT series without it, but Kaisa will be the ones to secure that Baron.
Yeah. And let's take a look at this replay one more time. Olaf doing what he does best. This champion is so terrible. As he's running away,
Oh, that was scary.
he dies right at the edge of the Scuttle Crab.
It's
I
just
like
so
that.
funny when you watch Olaf games when he's behind. Literally every single fight is him running
Even
away.
when he's ahead, it's been one of my primary arguments against him. Where even if his team's ahead, at 20, 25 minutes, just watch what he does in team fights. He runs in, and then he does a little alley-oop. He just runs in a circle and then runs backwards. Throws like 2 undertows.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like he's doing a warm-up or something before a basketball game.
What a lot of people have in their mind is when they play Olaf in scrims and people don't tend to care as much, or people aren't playing to win in scrims, Olaf gets ahead, he power farms really well as an AD jungler, he runs at people with CC immunity and dogs them down. It's like, oh, wow, this champion is very good. Yes, Wineglass. But the reality of it is that there's so many other champions that can do that too. Rek'Sai is very impressive when she's ahead as an AD jungler. Doesn't maybe quite have the mobility and speed inside of a gank, but the tunnel network, if you're using it effectively, is really good. And so it's always very fun to watch Olaf lose for me. in the
AP
LCK.
jungler is very good at that as well. If you're looking for high farm, Talia Karthus can do a nice number to the jungle as we're trying to engage here now as Score and Snowflower in the front here, trying to take it up a Prey immediately into the back line. Will be able to snipe down one. And now Songyun will be on the run here. Nice flash out of Prey. Is going to be able to get that one. Kingen says hello in the back line, and this is going to be the clean ace as nobody on KT will go down.
I think that's game.
They're going to be able to push to win this one, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like it's gonna be game. They have a clean ace. They have teleport on Kingen to lock up the turrets if they would even need it, but there's no one coming up. It's 8 seconds until Olaf, and I mean, it may as well just be a super minion, so the Nexus turrets now, they are falling. Super minion running off the Alright, never mind.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's going to do it, guys. 22 minutes and 45 seconds is game number 1 as KT getting all them fans excited here as they put the stomp down onto Hanwha Life.
Oh, they just got excited?
I heard them cheering.
We're going to game 3.
It's already decided.
Can't get excited about KT. Valdez, what's going on there?
Dunk
So,
S.
in this game, we got to see nothing happen early on, and that means that Hanwha Life's playing a 4 versus 5. And then we saw the Rift Herald, which should have been a clean ace, but it ended up resulting in 4 kills. We saw the poor usage of the Rift Herald, and then KT just, I don't even want to call snowballed. They just held on to a point where they couldn't really lose. The team compositions come into effect, and they bolster the advantages that KT already had accrued for themselves, Hanwha Life just fall apart from there on.
It's kind of hard to pick an MVP of that series. It kind of felt like KT sat back and were like, okay, we're going to farm, not die. And Hanwha Life weren't really able to get anything going. So I was kind of struggling between Score and Prey. Ended up picking Score in the end. Felt like he got things going on some of those engages, especially around the Dragon.
Yeah, around the Dragon and around the Rift Herald. He had a few blunders that game, though, as did Prey, though, with missing out on the kill on Aatrox at Rift Herald. And other than that, though, there was not really a standout factor. This is one of those games where it just tends to be a group effort, sort of a win. And it was pretty hard for them to lose, though, to be honest.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it looked very different to Bono coming out with Jarvan and just ganking every single lane for Janair.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean...
On Tanner.
Corki.
Who?
Tanner.
Yeah.
First pick here. Just, you know, so you're on the same page with us. Because I know you're the one guy who knows about Tanner. You're a good friend from high school. That was a 9,000 gold lead, clean, at 22 minutes. Very one-sided. Even in the beginning, they almost caught out Corki in the jungle. He just took Valkyrie, and he's like, let me give you an early taste of exactly what I do as a champion. Doesn't die, farms the whole time, hits his power spikes, and then the game ends.
Yeah.
Very straightforward game. Sorry we couldn't get more into it there, but kind of hoping that Hanwha Life come up with a bit better of a pick ban for Game 2.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well, because when teams of similar skill end up colliding, the draft is so important in Season 9. It ends up, especially in the LCK with how teams tend to play, the drafts often do come to fruition, and they'll end up showcasing themselves. And this game was also very similar to that.
Yeah.
Where the drafts really did start to show themselves at several points in the game. Olaf couldn't do anything. He had awful lane matchups as well for himself. I don't know why they picked him.
That was one of the saddest Olafs that we've seen in a while, though.
Olaf.
We haven't seen an Olaf in a long time.
Good.
I think he was down there at like 20% win rate, and people were just like, okay, we gotta take this guy off. Actually, I can check right here. I found him.
Olaf is
24%. He has now gone down to even less.
He's a scrim hero.
Scrim hero.
I mean, well.
Is there any chance he could be like Damwon and overcome just only the scrim power and come out in the real games? No? Not Olaf? Poor Olaf?
Stop talking about him.
Okay, well, I feel like we're probably not going to be talking about him for game number 2, as I doubt either of these teams will be picking that champion up after that performance, but we'll have to wait and see after this quick commercial break.
파이팅하면 무조건 이겨. 빼면서 봐. 이제 당겨있어. 이제 개피. 이제 개피야.
개피고.
이제 완전. 나이스. 나이스. 가자. 끝내 깡 나오나? 끝내가 나왔어. 끝났어.
좋아.
오케이, 나이스. 8패 3패 노스버스.
운수 좋았다. 운수 좋은다.
야 성훈아.
그냥 맞아 그냥.
맞아.
네, 그 10초야.
네
근데
끝냈어.
잘하면서 해야 돼.
아 끝냈어.
아우만 도와주자.
1컵부터.
자, 한 명은 그 민병대 극소.
한명
민병대 극소 간다.
나 끝냈어.
아야,
끝내 그냥
부터.
시원하게 다음 판 잘하자.
어어어어.
나이스.
긴장 좀 이긴 됐다.